All right. Well, hi everybody. Um, yeah, thank you so much for coming on to this webinar. It's a bonus webinar for you to yeah to you know I figured since we don't have a workshop tonight, it's a great opportunity to use this time to do a webinar training instead, so that way you don't have to travel to the office or get home, and we can still have kind of like a virtual workshop tonight, right? So, all right, cool. So today's topic is on how to wholesale houses fast, and this topic came about is because I was coaching Bill Wenzel on wholesaling a couple of his homes, and so he mentioned that, well, I don't have a checklist on what marketing I should do, and so I was like, hey, that's a great idea. Well, let's go ahead and create that training for that, so that way you can have somewhat of a checklist here, and so. Uh, so okay. So first part of wholesaling a deal is the preparation part of it. Okay, in the wholesaling business, unlike the traditional real estate where it's location, 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 right? In the wholesaling business, it's price, price, price. Okay, price cures all is what we say a lot. That means that no matter how bad a house is, um, or where it's at, like if the price is cheap enough, someone will buy it. And cheap could mean that it costs a few $1,000s, a few $100s, a few dollars. It could mean that it's free, or it could also mean that the seller, would pay money to sell the house, right? So so that this uh, this all part of that allows you to get a deal done, right? Um, I recently bought a house from a wholesaler that, in order for him to make his money, and I think he made like 24 grand on the deal. Um, the seller had to come up with $30,000 at closing for me to be able to buy it at the price I need to buy it at, and the wholesaler makes its money, right? So price cures all. Okay. And then other things to consider, other than price, is terms. So like, what other kind of terms is on the house? Is it a subject to? Is there a loan that we can take over? Is there any owner financing that's available? Right? Even if it's just short term, like let's say, even if there's subject to or there's owner financing, it's only for 6 months while we're fixing and reselling this house, right? And so what are the other terms other than cash that we have to work with? Because then the easier it is for us to be able to um, sell to this buyer, and easy for them to buy the property because they don't have to put a lot of money out of pocket, either because they're taking over payments because of owner financing, right? Because they don't have to put as much money out of pocket, that opens up a buyer pool for us to be able to have more buyers for it. Okay. All right. The next, another thing to consider. Another thing to consider is cash flow. So, maybe the 70% ARV margin doesn't work, but what about cash flow? Would that work? So, for example, we um, we have a deal we're working on right now where it's you know it's marginal, but it cash flow really well. So like when we wholesale it to a buyer, we're going to wholesale to them for 50,000. It's worth about 70,000. So so and it needs like 5,000 in repairs to for rent make ready. So when you're looking at it from a percentage point of view, it's not a lot of money, right? Like 70. Let me look at here. Let's say they're in it at 55,000, 50,000 to buy, 5,000 to fix, and it's only worth 70. They're buying it at 78, 79%. I'm gonna just go and mute you guys out for now, and then if you want to talk, just raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Okay. All right. So so however, so if we buy it to them at if we sell to them at 50, it's a marginal deal, but because it can rent for 850 to $1,000 a month, that's really good cash flow. If you look at like if they buy the property for 50,000, the monthly payments is going to be roughly $500 a month, and if they can rent for um, even $900 a month, that's a good $400 a month in gross cash flow. So that makes the deal sweeter for a buyer. Okay. All right. The next one to consider is condition. Right? How easy of a rehab is it? If it's a light rehab, buyers will be willing to pay more for the property because there's less risk involved. There's not a lot of risk in a $5,000 rehab. However, there's a lot of risk in a $50,000 rehab, right? So, condition of the properties will also affect, um, your how easy it is going to be to sell it. Location would be another example. What type of area is it? If it's in a bread and butter neighborhood, those kind of houses sell really fast. There's a lot of buyers out there. But if it's in a low end neighborhood, you have a lot less buyer. If it's in a high end neighborhood, you have a lot less buyer, right? And so the location will also matter in terms of who your buyers are and how many buyers, like what's the buyer pool for that particular area. Okay. And then also too, you know, like what type of properties is it? Is it something that a rehabber would be interested in buying and fix up and retail? Is it something? So the example I gave you earlier about the property we're working on is worth 70,000. Well, that's really not a rehabber house, is because it's you're not going to make much money rehabbing that house and reselling it. And in a lower income area like that, the buyers have a harder time to get a loan. Okay. However, with that specific house, because of the great cash flow that it has, a landlord buyer would be, the ideal buyer for that, for that property. Okay. Um, And then if it's not a rehabber, if it's not a landlord, like is it something that a builder would be interested in? Something that they can tear the house down, build on the lot, right? And yeah, or if it doesn't fit an owner occupant an investor, but will it fit an owner occupant buyer, right? So if an owner occupant buyer has cash to buy it, what's the condition? Can they buy it and fix it up, like do some sort of handyman, and do paint carpet without a major renovation? So we just sold a house last week that the buyer that bought it, they're going to live in the house. Okay. It's a house that we wholesale to them. We assign it to them. But they had cash and they're living in the house, and so they're gonna do their own paint and carpet. So they get a great deal to buy it, and we got a great deal to sell it because we weren't able to find any investor buyer to buy it, so we end up selling to an owner occupant buyer. And for them, it's a great deal because it was much less than uh, retail market, right? much less than a house that they would be able to find on the MLS or somewhere else. Okay. All right. Now that we got the preparation out of the way, let's look at the 8 marketing strategies that you can use to sell them. Okay. So the first marketing strategy is always like your low hanging fruits, which I call your VIP buyers. So who are you know who are your VIP buyers? Like VIP buyers are proven buyers that have either bought from you before or bought from someone before, right? So like I would be your VIP buyer, right? And so yeah, so experienced investors like myself, like any of us coaches here, would be should be on your VIP buyers list. Okay, so so those are you always contact your VIP buyers first because if they're proven, it'll be a quick sell, it'll be fast. You don't have to worry about um, them backing out of the deal or anything like that. Okay. Number two is your email list. So, when you first start out, you might not have an email list yet, but you're going to begin to build your email buyers list. And so, once you contact your VIP buyers through text, through calls, um, through emails, and if they don't buy it, then you can then email it out to the rest of your email list. In your case, if you're new to us, and you're still doing your partnership deals with us, then we would email it to our buyers list and try to get it sold. Okay, so that sort of like replaces your email buyers list, um, or filled in for your emails buyers list until you start to build that out. Okay. So now, once you've done those 2 things and it's still not sold yet, then you can also post an ad on Craigslist, and see if you can find any buyers on Craigslist. Right? And obviously, Craigslist is free. You'll get some calls. It will take a little bit longer to sell it, maybe because it's not a concentrated group of buyers. You just have to wait until somebody responds to you on your ad to be able to sell it to them. Okay? Step number 4 is, so once you've gone through your VIP buyers list, didn't sell it, email it to your list or our list, and you still haven't sold it, Craigslist, and that still hasn't sold it, then you might want to consider putting out some signs. Have some home for sale signs made and put it around the neighborhood. Okay. I normally like we normally put anywhere from 20 to 50 signs all around the neighborhood to try to find a buyer that lives in the area. And this works, especially well when you have an area that either there's a lot of handymen that has mattress money that they can buy, and then they can come in and fix it themselves, or a landlord, right? But whenever you put out some signs, you're gonna get a lot of buyers that calls you, asking if you offer owner financing and things like that. Um, the signs happen to just attract a lot of owner financing buyers, but some of them has good money, like good money down. And so, in a case where you might have a subject to deal, then getting the down payment and letting um, them leverage that loan, that existing loan, that would make it easier to sell to them. All right, number 5. If all of that still doesn't work, then you might want to consider reaching out to other wholesalers. Like in our case, reaching out to either Steve Vigil, Hugo Cedeno, right? Other people that have lists or have buyers, that they might have buyers for your house. And so, like anybody in the group, pretty much, anybody in the group that's been doing this, that have wholesale some deals, chances are they have some buyers that are looking for properties. And so reaching out to them and making a deal with them where perhaps you let them know like what's the least you'll take on it, and then whatever they can sell for on top of that they get to keep, or you can split 50-50, 30-70, like whatever the case might be, that would work. That would work for you. Okay. Marketing strategy number 6. So if you've gone through your VIP buyers, you've gone through email lists, you've gone through Craigslist, gone through signs, gone through other wholesalers, and you still haven't been able to sell it yet, the next option is to go on the MOS and do a search for cash buyers that have bought in that area, okay, in that neighborhood or in that general area. And you can either go on HCAD or whatever the county appraisal district is for that property, look for the buyer's name, and then go on like whitepages.com to try to find the buyer's phone number to call them directly, or send them a letter, send them a yellow letter or a postcard. Okay, so that's one way you can go about it. The second way you can go about it is you can also go to uh, contact the real estate agent of that buyer. And it's very easy to find their contact information. It's because it's on the MOS, so you can just click into the public ID and be able to get their phone and the email just to contact them. So either way, either you go directly to the buyers, or go through the agent of that buyer. Okay, so whenever you're running comps on a property and you're looking at those sold comps, and the ones that are cash transaction, those are your buyers. Those are the easiest way to find those buyers. All right. And if you've done all that and it still haven't sell, you can also contact landlords in the area. So what does that mean? You know how we do a lot of direct mail to absentee owners, and try to buy houses from them? Well, if if a landlord, an absentee owner, have only bought a property in that area in the last 6 months, most likely they're not interested in selling that property, but most likely they're interested in buying a property in that area, since they already bought one in that area, already own some in that area. Okay, so you go through the absentee owners list, and you look for everyone who owned a property in that area in the last 6 months. Okay, and then you contact them. Same thing, you look for rent properties in that area, and contact them and see if they're interested in buying more rental properties. Bill, you raise your hand, so I'm gonna unmute you here. Do you have a question, Bill?
Yeah, this presentation, are you going to send it out to us as like a checklist for us?
Yeah, I will. I will save this file as a PDF file and
Okay,
email it to you. Would that work?
that works perfectly. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. So that'll be your Christmas gift for you. It'll be my Christmas gift to you. All right. So so absentee owners as well as for rent. Okay. For rent signs as well. All right. So now number 8. So if you've done all of that and you still haven't sold it, another option is to go after real estate agents, so you can list it on the MOS, um, or so basically, you're going to like get a flat fee listing agent to list it on the MOS and see if there's any land either investor buyers on the MOS that that might be willing to pay more for this property. Normally, buyers on the MOS are willing to pay more for a property than non-MOS buyers. because the MLS is much more competitive, and they also have a lot more buyers, a lot more different type of buyers. You might find a buyer that doesn't care about equity. All they care about is the cash flow that it can give them, either a you know 10% cash on cash return or 12% cash on cash return. And they'll be happy with that and they'll buy it. Okay, so listing it on the MLS is one option. Another option too that will also attract the agents. There's a couple different websites out there, a couple different services out there that you can use, and one is called uh, I forgot the name now. Oh man. Um,
List for 99.
well, not no no not the list for 99. Um, the what is that? Uh, like virtual like the virtual tour dot biz. Is it vtour dot biz or something like that? Where it's it allows you to basically um, hold on. Uh, let me do a real quick search for it. Um, shoot, I don't remember the name here. Um, that it's basically it emails out to the uh, let me just find the name of it and then before I email this to you guys on a PDF, I'll make sure I'll get that. I thought it was virtual tour .biz, but I'll double check. But so there's a couple different services. There's a lot, but there's a few um, that of services that have a list of real estate agents that they can email to, and so you can email to that list of agents and um, and 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 have them have them market to them specifically. And whenever we market to them, we sometimes we'll say like pocket listings or off market deal, so they know like it's not on the MLS or not on the MLS yet, that they can sell to their buyers. Okay, so I'll get the name. So let's name it uh, 9. I'll do that. Okay. Um, the tour. Yeah, I don't. I'll just find out. Okay, so those are the different uh, marketing strategies to sell these homes. Okay, now if you've done all of that and it's still not sold, okay, if you've done all of that and it's still not sold, um, then you wanna look at, do you need to renegotiate the price or not, or can you renegotiate the price? Is the sellers willing to do that? And if it's not the price, can you renegotiate the terms? Like maybe you can take over the payments, leveraging the existing loan. Maybe you can get the seller to owner finance it to you for 3 months, 6 months, or let you have it in the contract for 3 months or 6 months, so you can find a property. I mean, find a buyer for them. And so yeah, so you can either renegotiate on the price or renegotiate on the term. Another possibility is to restructure the deal, so maybe it doesn't work as a wholesale deal, but you know maybe you can sell it to an owner occupant buyer and have the seller pay you your sort of like your part out of their side. If the conventional loan buyer, if the owner occupant buyer is going to use a conventional loan, where the loan the bank that they're getting the loan from is not going to allow an assignment of contract. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you got in a contract with the seller for 100,000, and you were able to sell it to the owner occupant buyer that's going to get a loan for 105,000. Well, normally in a wholesale deal we can just charge that 5,000 on the buyer side as an assignment. But if they're getting a loan, that's not going to work. And so then you would have to go back to the seller and renegotiate to put the price at $105,000 between the seller and the end buyer, and then you're going to invoice the seller for your marketing fee for the $5,000 that you put on top of what the seller wanted, which is in this example it'd be 100,000. Okay, so there's different names for it. You can call it assignment fee. You can call it release of equitable interest. Um, like different ways that you can get that 5,000. Okay, and then if none of that works, then this deal just won't work right now, and you need to follow up with them later, okay, to see if you can get it at a lower price or a better term later. Okay. So all right, so I'm going to open up for questions now. Um, if you have any questions, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask questions. Anybody have questions on this? You go ahead. Already unmuted you. Go.
Let me take. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay. I guess my question is, when you put one of these deals under contract, how do you let the seller know that this is not you're not closing within 30 days? It's not a short thing, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because when you're doing the assignment or doing a wholesale, do you let them know up front that you're wholesaling it, or?
Yeah, the way we say it is this. We say that, you know, we buy houses. Sometimes, we buy them, we fix them up, we sell them retail. Sometimes we buy them, we fix them up, we rent them, and sometimes we just buy them and then immediately resell them to someone else. So it depends on whether it meets our cash buying criteria or not. So like, so when it doesn't meet our cash buying criteria, then we'll just go ahead and sell it to one of our investor associate, or yeah, assign the contract over to them for them to close on it. And we don't know that until we inspect your house and get a repair bid, and do our further research on the value of the house. But so for now, we're gonna get your house under contract. Um, you know, looking from the perspective that we might buy it, and if for some reason the numbers doesn't work for us to buy as a cash deal, then we would sell it to one of our investor associates. So that's how I explain it to them.
Okay.
Are you clear on that?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Avoid using words like wholesale, because they might, a lot of these people, they don't know what that means, right? Like,
Right.
they don't know what it means to wholesale or hotel, but they do know what it means when you say, it doesn't meet your cash buying criteria, and that you're going to have one of your investors to buy it. Right? It's like, it's just another way to say wholesale, but explain it in a way that they understand.
Right. Okay.
Right. Cool. Any other questions, Hugo?
No, that was it.
Okay, cool. All right. Anyone else? Who else has question or any or if you do have any questions on this? Okay, Charlotte, I'm going to unmute. All right, Charlotte.
Okay, so remind me how I get this absentee owner information.
Yeah. So this, one way to do it, like we used to use it with, well, okay. One way to do it is log into your MOS, and in the MOS, there's one called Real List. Okay.
Called what?
Real List. There's it's like the same link, the public record link that you would use within the MOS to research a property, like tax appraised value.
Okay.
So hold on here. Let me see if I can pull up my screen real quick. Hold on. I can show you what I'm talking about. All right. Let me go to the Bahar real quick. All right. Let me go to. Hmm, Let me go to tempo here so you can see. All right. So up here where it says tax, you see that? Can you see my?
No.
Can you see? Oh, okay. Let me, hold on. Let me get this to work. I'm gonna switch over to all. All right. So now can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So up here in this right corner here where it says real list, see that? The tax?
Okay.
That you click on that. Um, and then, oops, you click on that, and then, oh, okay, yeah, and then you do your search here. So you can search in, like, you put in search. Um, Actually, okay, let me let me think. Absentee. Okay, let me edit attribute. Like so. Okay. Um, Hopefully you can still see it here because it pops up another window. But once you go in here, and one of the let's see, like right here where it says owner occupied, when you uncheck that, like how it's not checked, then it will pull the people who are non-owner occupied. Okay, and like so basically this is where you would pull that list that you're looking for. Okay. Um,
Oh,
so yeah, so you pull a list. You want to get their names. Like maybe specific to that zip code. So you put in a zip code, and so you can see like, okay, let's look for all of the people who have bought a property that's not living in the house in the last 6 months in that zip code. Then that will give you a list of recent landlords in that area that you can approach. Okay, and if
okay.
you yeah, and So that's one way to pull this list. Okay. And then another way to pull this list would be to use the MOS, which I'm going to go into next here. But you can also pull the list on the MOS, which is, let me see. Hold on, I'm switching back. Right here, recent buyers on the MOS, recent like cash buyers, I should say. Okay, so you can go in the MOS and pull a list of all the houses that were sold in the last 6 months. Let's say in that subdivision or in that zip code that was sold to a cash buyer. You can also contact them as well. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Um, but yeah, we'll not today, but on another webinar, maybe next week or something. Next Tuesday, we'll do a little bit more training on how to pull the absentee owners list.
That would be
Normally,
great.
yeah, normally we don't use that real list one to pull the list when we do direct mail to find deals, but because we're trying to sell deals, the lists that we're pulling are much smaller. Because real lists, they limit you to they limit you to only like 1,500 names that you can pull per month, and so it's not a lot. So for to find buyers like this, we can use real lists. But when we do mailing to when we're pulling the list to mail to find deals, we use real acquisition for that. Okay? It's a
Okay.
different service that we use. All right. Okay. Any other questions, Charlotte?
No, thank you.
Okay. Awesome. You're welcome. I think it was real tour. Let me see. Real. Anyone else have question? If you do, like, raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Okay. Or you can also type in your question too if you want. All right, Bill, go ahead, buddy.
Once we find a buyer, let's say we go through some of the other steps and we find a buyer and we're under contract with you, then they're supposed to contact you. Is that how that works?
Um, you can do it either way. I mean, if um, yes, ideally everything goes through Lucille, for her to process through that. Yes, but
Okay.
but if it's a buyer that you're already in communication with, um, then yeah, then that then it's okay that you have that communication, and then it would be like you and that buyer and Lucille like all get in communication together.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. So yeah, so the website I was talking about earlier is called realtor.biz. This website here. Okay. Uh, email blast to realtors. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, did you guys I'm gonna unmute you here so I can hear you. Did you guys enjoy this webinar today? Did you learn this of
Yeah, good
value?
information, Tim.
Yes, thanks. Good stuff.
Awesome. Okay. So, what do you guys think about for next Tuesday? Because we're also not going to have the workshop next Tuesday. I was thinking about doing a topic on how to find deals, how to find how to find deals webinar. What do you guys think about that topic for next Tuesday webinar?
I think
That'd
it'd
be
be
great.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll go through and we'll talk about like all the different ways to find deals other than the direct mail that we talked a lot about, right? So we're like not other than, but on top of that, we'll just go through like all the many different ways that you can look at to find deals. So all right, so cool. So then let's plan for that. That'll be next Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Houston time, and I will I'll send out the link to probably tomorrow to let you know so you can register for it and then plan on being here for the next webinar and when you hear live obviously the benefit is that you get to ask questions, but I am recording this webinar as well, so if you do miss it that you can watch the replay as well, but I do encourage you to listen live as much as possible. Cool.
okay. So you're gonna send us this PDF, right?
Correct. Yeah, I'll send this to you in a PDF format.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. All right, y'all. Well, with that, then we'll end this webinar for today. I wish you and your family an amazing Merry Christmas. And I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday.
Same to you, Tim. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
All right, man.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, bye.
Merry Christmas.